Welcome to my top 10 worst movies of 2018. This really does not mean that they're the worst movies out there. They were just the movies that I didn't feel connected to, and they really fell flat, not memorable to me. Maybe if I watch them again, that will change. So let's begin with this. Number 10, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, The Crimes of Grindelwald. I'm still conflicted about it. It is visually stunning. It does feel like we're back in the wizarding world, but something was missing. It just felt like the characters were going nowhere, really. It didn't feel like they had arcs, like they were trying to give us a story, but there isn't one there. Some performances are awesome, my standout being Newt, but I was hoping for so much more. It really does feel like it is just there to give us the next movie. It does not feel like a movie that can stand on its own. Number 9, The House with a Clock in Its Walls. This was very interesting because I was sort of feeling drawn to it as it started, but then it just became this weird demonic thing. Out of nowhere, you saw the devil. It just didn't feel as cohesive as a story. It felt like one story, and then halfway through it suddenly changed to something else. It is creative and imaginative, but it really did not connect with me enough to make me want to see it again. Pacific Rim Uprising did not have the same impact Pacific Rim had with me when I first saw it. I guess they tried to sell this connection with, I don't even remember the names, John Boyega's character and this girl. They really tried to sell us that friendship, and it did not translate it as good as I thought it would. It has all of these side characters that were just there for them to be, controlling the Jaegers. A completely different story. Number 7, The Meg. This had potential because it does have great effects, but then similar to The House with a Clock in Its Walls, it just completely changes to this cookie cutter shark movie that has scenes that were just so dreadful to watch. I know this was never meant to be a super serious movie, but I think that was what I was missing. It did not feel serious enough for them to be in danger. It just felt like a comedy of some sort. It does have a few surprises here and there, but I don't feel that need to revisit this, and I don't think I ever will. The anti-hero people were excited to see. Venom is my number 6. I know people are arguing that this is not Venom, that this is not who he really is. Since he's an anti-hero, we don't get our regular superhero story. It does have some parts where you just feel like you're watching some nonsense and the effects don't look as cool. We are getting a sequel, so I really hope they take all that was not quite right and turn it into something good, since we're gonna get Carnage in the next one. Rampage is my number 5. I love Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but this was so boring. It just felt like the action star, which is The Rock, was there to do action stuff, but the story was not really there. You don't connect with anyone except for the gorilla. That was my only takeaway from this. The gorilla was the best part. The villains were so dumb. Some impossible stuff going on here. I really didn't care for it. We are going into my Netflix section of this list. I know they may not count because they were released on Netflix, but I really didn't like these. My number 4 has to be The Princess Switch. We get the same old story about twins who discover they're twins and they switch places. I was expecting so much more romance in this, considering it is a romantic Christmas movie, but I was missing a lot of that. These girls felt like they just switch love interests. They don't ever learn from each other, and it was super predictable. Guess we've seen this before. Number 3, The Kissing Booth. I still don't understand why that girl's best friend didn't want her to be with a brother. I mean, that point was never explained. You thought he was going to be in love with her, but he just doesn't want her to be with the brother because he doesn't. For it being a romantic movie, romantic comedy, it did not do its job. I finished the movie because I had to. Number 2, Sierra Burgess is a loser. This movie is full of stereotypes. It was the same case as my last one. I finished it because I just had to. One other thing that I just remember, Sierra and this blonde girl, which I forgot her name, they become friends in this process of lying to this guy. And there is a decision that she makes that really took me off guard. It did not go with her personality, and that is when she decides to put that video on the screen. It felt like that decision was made just for the plot to go along. This is one movie that I will not want to see again. My number one worst movie of this year has to go to Death Wish. I know that it seems that I really hate this movie. It's not that I hate it, because this movie had me very into it from that first part where the killers go into the house. You're in suspense, wishing that they will be saved. But after that, Bruce Willis wants revenge, but it was just too bloody, too gory. This guy all of a sudden turned into a killer, a massive killer of killers. It was too graphic and it felt too convenient. I remember this experience being the worst experience I've had at a movie theater, because I don't know, I felt this tension, and not in a good way, coming out of it in my car, and I just felt this did not go away for like 2 or 3 days after that, so I just did not have a good experience with this. That was my list of my top 10 worst movies of this year. They did not meet my expectations, or I just didn't enjoy them as much as I thought that I would. I'm curious to know which are your top 10 worst movies of this year. Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Follow me on Stardust at Minute Movie Pop. Here's my other social media so you can follow me, and I will see you soon.